The Liberals can't seem to figure out whether they're going to raise the carbon tax or not. Either that or they can't seem to figure out how much they want to tell Canadians about their plans. In the last couple of months, McKenna has flip-flopped a couple of times from, at first, the Liberals reviewing whether they need to raise the carbon tax to more than $50 a tonne of emissions, and then McKenna saying there'd be a cap on it, and after 2022, there would never be an increase above $50 per tonne. And then a couple of days ago, she decided to have a rare moment of candor with the Globe and Mail and said that there would be an increase after Justin Trudeau was re-elected, that after 2022, the government would be raising the carbon tax above that $50 threshold. And we have a little bit of confusion now. There's this back and forth, and it seems like the Liberals aren't quite sure what it is they want to do. Now, I'm convinced that they're going to increase it. I'm convinced that's always going to be the plan, but I am also convinced that the Liberals know that it is not politically advantageous for them to tell Canadians that if a Trudeau government is re-elected, that there will be yet another increase to the cost of living. So I think the issue is a lot more about how much they want to disclose rather than what they want to do. The carbon tax has been and is a cash grab. It's not a tax on paper because then the government would need to go through another mechanism to levy it, but in practice it is a tax. The government is trying to incentivize you to make better decisions, it says, and going to charge you by doing things that result in carbon emissions. Unfortunately, in Canada, emitting carbon is not exactly a luxury. It's not a choice for a lot of people. If you live in rural communities, remote communities, things need to be shipped to you. Things need to be sent. If you live in a cold part of the country, you've got to heat your home. These are not choices that someone can live without, so Canadians have to just pay the price, whatever it is. But oh no, don't worry, the government's got your back by giving you a couple $100s of your own money back as this climate action incentive sham. But here's the big issue right now. Numerous studies have shown that a $50 a tonne tax is not going to be strong enough to have any of the behavior modification effects that the Liberals say will happen. Some reports have said you need to go up to $300 a tonne to have that, which means in order for the carbon tax to have any effect on behavior, you'd need to multiply it 6 times. Now, whether the Liberals would pursue something that aggressive, we don't know. But if they are genuinely serious about behavior modification, their own mentality, their own ideology says they have to increase the tax. And this is why conservatives, or anyone opposing the Liberals right now, needs to be saying this needs to be walked back. We cannot accept the premise that taxing carbon-emitting things, that taxing energy in Canada is good policy. It's also bad politics, which is why McKenna had to walk back her comment that ended up making so many people scratch their head and say, but wait, I thought you weren't going to raise it. So right now we've got an environment minister whose moment of honesty has shown Canadians the Liberals' true colors. That even the carbon tax we have is not enough. The government wants even more of your money. These stories are why it's so important to fairly and honestly and transparently cover the government and cover this upcoming election. It's going to be an important one, but True North doesn't have the $1 billion the CBC does or the hundreds of millions the mainstream media is getting. Our money comes from you, our supporters. We have an election coverage crowdfunding campaign going. There's a link in the description box. If you can chip in a few dollars, it will go a long way to ensuring the real stories get told this election season. For True North, I'm Andrew Lawton.